Welcome to Spill the Booch. This is the show where we share wild, hilarious, and oh so relatable stories from the yoga and wellness world because even the most peaceful spaces have their fair share of WTF moments. I'm Mara, and I'm here with my team of industry pros and business coaches, Terry and Carol, also known as Terrell to our team. Together, we're diving into stories that make you laugh, cringe, and say, yep, that's so studio life. So grab your coffee, kombucha, your favorite drink, and let's jump in. Today's story comes from the yoga Reddit thread, and it's based around something that our team has a lot of experience dealing with. And the title of today's story is Question About Memberships. Now, before we dive in, Terry, Carol, do you have any immediate thoughts on what the question is? It's very broad,
It is very broad.
very vague.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's not a yoga studio. It's probably like a consumer of fitness that goes to a yoga studio. And maybe question about membership. What leaps to my mind is if a studio is on what we call direct to membership, where they sign up for the first month and it automatically renews and goes into the second month. That's because what we find is so many people don't read what they're buying, and they get to that second month, they go, WTF, I didn't sign up for it. Whereas they actually acknowledged in the terms and conditions that they have. So that's my guess is what it's about.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carol, any thoughts? Any
Mm.
guesses?
That's really the only thing I can think of, but
Okay.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The only other thing
Well,
that popped to my mind is with the new click to cancel us. That
that's really new though, right? Like it hasn't even come into effect yet until May.
well, and I think it's actually came into pass in New York State. I
Okay.
think it's pretty soon. So anyway, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's coming in May. I mean, I'm not from the States, but
that
that's
is
what I've been
that
hearing.
is if
The
it has
grapevine.
that is if it hasn't been doged.
Oh, all
But
right.
don't break me, FTC, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Here's the story. Again, the title is Question About Memberships. Hi, guys. I have a question. Is 30-day cancellation for yoga studio membership standard? I was out on maternity leave for about 6 months, and I was trying out a new studio as it was closer to my house. I ended up thinking the studio was fine. It was a big commercial studio, but the classes just weren't difficult or hot enough. I had been targeted and signed up over the phone for a membership. I ended up being a member at my original studio, which I adore, but it's a bit further, and this one simultaneously, and was going 7 days a week getting the weight off. I was doing rigorous classes at my original studio and using the other membership for cool down days. Now that I'm off maternity leave, I called to cancel my commercial membership, and they are saying I can't cancel because they have a 30-day policy and they're requiring I pay another $160 a month that I can't and won't use. In my opinion, the woman on the phone was quite nasty and rude. She told me this was their standard price. I've practiced yoga for years and never found this to be a standard practice. However, I have been loyal to a single studio who is very flexible with me throughout my pregnancy. Just seems like a scam to get money, but I don't know. I feel like this wasn't transparent at all. Plus, they charged a $50 fee to start a membership, which seems egregious as well. Egregious as well. God, big words.
SAT words.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, so nobody guessed that, but I could see from your reactions that you were both like, oh, yes, 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 the cancellations.
It was a tactic used for a long time and I guess still is by different types of studios, even not just yoga. But yeah, it's that like, well, we can keep them on one more month if we have a 30-day cancellation window.
Yeah,
And I mean, we don't coach to that for sure. I mean, we want to make it as easy as possible. And with this new
Yes.
rule, it should be very easy to cancel. So, and it
yeah,
really, I mean, this person sounds like they could have had they had a decent experience at least, and maybe in time it's closer to their home, they would have gone back. But with this, it's kind of going to be leave a bad taste in their mouth, it sounds like. And I wouldn't go back if that were the case for me, you know.
100% it's a money grab.
Yeah.
It's a money grab. It's a scarcity mindset instead of a abundance mindset. Because seriously, I'm here to tell you right now, it doesn't take very long to get this whole 30 days admin is bullshit, because in any studio software out there, it is find the client, go to their account, cancel. It's that easy. And
It's
that it's
very
also,
quick.
yeah, it's also bullshit $50 sign up fee. Because again, it's go in, buy the thing, and that type of thing. So that those fees to me are just they're egregious, they're old school mentality. She did say it was more like a big
Corporate.
brand, and that typically is what's more engaged with the franchises out there. Now, the one thing, the flip side to that is there is some responsibility on the part of the consumer, because I guarantee you in their terms and conditions, it clearly states that it requires a 30-day cancellation policy, which
Mhm.
is what I said before, is oftentimes, even when people have very generous cancellation prior to click to cancel, like we just need 48 hours notice before your billing date to
Yeah.
cancel. People are still like, oh, I didn't know and want a refund. So there is some onus on the consumer side to make sure that you read and understand the terms and conditions. And a little bit, it's your bad if you just check the box, and
Yeah.
or if they hand you a piece of paper and you just sign it and you don't actually read through and make note of those things. While I understand her frustration, the other side is that, yeah, she probably signed that that's what she agreed to. So yeah, seriously, that's just a really old school mentality. And the click to cancel laws, my understanding of it is, of what I've read, is it just has to be easy to cancel,
Mhm.
right? That you should be able to go online and cancel. Now, you could still have policies around that you need, and typically if it's a click to cancel where you can cancel yourself, you just need to cancel before your next billing date. So if you bill tomorrow, if you don't cancel today, you're going to get billed again, and then, oh, well, so sad, too bad.
Mhm. I
I,
feel like a lot of students and people who are on memberships, like they don't even pay attention to when their billing date is. And like I've experienced this a lot, like even in my personal life where I have memberships places and that's the first thing I think of. I'm like, oh, what's the cancellation policy? And like I find out what the cancellation policy is when I'm thinking of canceling. So then I can prepare. And then if it is 30 days, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this for another 30 days because I have to, because that's their policy. And maybe that's just me being a good Canadian. I don't know. I'm like too nice to fight it or what.
I had a thing where I canceled day 30, and they're like, oh, we're sorry, it's not 30 days. And I had to go another, it was like, seriously. And then this is really old school, and this is absolutely click to cancel has eliminated. Is there still were places even as early as 2025 that required you to come in to cancel?
Oh, that's the worst. Then you have to confront them about it.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the old mentality, is they're going to try to downsell you. They're gonna, or
Yeah.
they're gonna try to keep you, is what they're gonna
Yeah.
sell you hard. And that's when we get into that creepy sales territory. That's when people have the negative perception of what sales is that slimy, sleazy, because I just want to cancel, and I don't want, to have to justify why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, question for you guys. Does your opinion change at all with cancellation policies when you take your studio owner and your coaching hat off and put your student hat on?
It's really hard because it's one of those things like once you know something, you can't unknow it.
Yeah. Curse of knowledge.
The curse of knowledge, exactly. Um, I don't know if it changes. I think I would probably be a lot less aware.
Yeah.
If I took my coach's hat off and I wasn't a studio owner, I would just be like, I don't know, kind of, I wouldn't be as aware as you are, even Mara. You're like checking it to make sure of when it is and when's my
Yeah.
billing date. Although I do know my billing date. I reconcile my accounts every I'm checking my credit card. I know that kind of shit. Like
Yeah.
the people that don't know that, it's surprising to me. But yeah, that's a really good question. It's hard to know how I would react if I wasn't a coach or a former studio owner.
Yeah, at this point, after 20 years of doing this, it would be really hard. Well, I go back. to, I don't know why I'm always, there's a window here. I'm like, when I'm thinking, I like look out my window. I go back to when I first started practicing Bikram yoga way back in the early aughts, right? Over 20 years ago. The studio that I went to, they only had two pricing options. And I kind of if you think about it in today's world, it's super easy. There was no intro offer, there was no drop-in, there was a 10 class card and an annual. That's it.
It's aggressive.
It was just easy.
Yeah,
It was super easy.
that's true. You got like literally the less choices you have, the easier it is to make a decision.
And then no credit cards, cash or check.
Oh, wow. We're like talking the 70s here.
Well, no, I mean, actually, I had to call my bank yesterday because I thought there were suspicious charges on my credit card. You know, I was over in Europe for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was over in Europe for 3 weeks. I was so cosmopolitan. Anyway, it turns out they were legit. And
Oh, that happens to me all the time. I'm like, there's no way. Somebody stole my credit card. And then I look through everything. I'm like, oh no, that was definitely me. Ugh.
and the guy on the other end was named Tom, very chatty. We just chatted, and you know me, I'll hang out and chat with anybody. And
Yeah.
we were chatting about it, and it's starting to become. And in fact, I just read an article about this. You'll see it more and more. A lot of restaurants now are adding a service charge, like a credit card fee, right on the bill. No choice. It's like there it is. Some places are now starting to say, "Hey, if you pay cash, we'll give you a discount." That's coming back. I mean, cash actually is sort of coming back into vogue. Or with my T-Mobile,
Phone bill.
phone bill. Thank you. Um, Before I had it charged, I got a discount for auto pay, which went to my credit card, but they recently changed their policy. If you want the $5 discount for auto pay, it has to go to your checking account
Interesting.
because then they don't have to pay the credit card fees. And ACH fees are much, much smaller than credit card fees. So actually
And you don't get the points, Terry.
well, that's why they're doing it because having not owned a business, this is one thing, I'm Carol, I'm sure you would agree with this, is as a merchant, as a business who takes credit cards, the banks aren't paying for those rewards cards. You know who pays for it? The merchants and hire like anybody. When someone swipes the American Express or a reward card, there's a higher fee for that.
Hmm.
So rewards cards are actually the worst. Which, you know, for a consumer perspective, they're the best. But from a merchant perspective, cash or credit or checks are better. So it's we're starting to see that. So anyway, going back to
Yeah, circle back, Terry.
let's go back. Circle back to annual 10 class card. End of story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Carol, what about if I were to open a studio today, I might just consider something. We've talked about this before. What would the price, what would you do membership wise if you opened a studio today? I know what I do.
I think we had talked about this. Yeah, we have talked about it. I do a weekly membership.
Yeah, I would too. I love the weekly
So
membership.
yeah, and super to hop in, hop off, hop on,
Yeah,
hop off. Just super
super easy.
simple and yeah.
I think I would do a weekly membership, an annual, and like maybe like a 10 card. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a 10 card. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
But
know. I like the 10. I mean, I'm a 10 pack girl. I'm that person because I'm
well,
so lazy that I will not drive the 20 minutes to a studio. And so I'm like, I need a 10 pack so I can go literally when I want and within the 6 months or
I
12
always
months
say
that it expires. I don't know.
a 10 pack is basically discounts on drop-ins.
Yeah. I mean, any class
Years ago, there
category.
was a studio in southern San Mateo County, which is south of San Francisco on the coast in California. And I remember it was so funny. Their drop-in, keep in mind, this was like almost 20 years ago. Their drop-in was $15 and their 10 pack was $150. It's $15 a class.
Yeah.
So there was no discount. You just wanted to pay for 10 drop-ins.
Yeah,
Basically, you just had 10 drop-ins on the books. I thought,
that's okay.
that's an
Well,
interesting thought, right?
why not?
Why not?
Yeah. All right. What is one studio policy that students always try to bend? Like late fees, cancellation fees, mat rentals, no more lavender towels. Like, what is the most common policy that you guys have heard about, whether when you owned your studio or coaching now, that students like really try to bend?
I think, well, what's coming up for me is the late cancel or no-show fees, and they're the most that the studio owners, I think, are willing to bend on. So
Yeah.
I think it goes both ways. It doesn't seem to be just that the students come in and like, oh, my dog ate my homework, whatever, I don't know, some weird excuse. But it's also the one that like I even see at my home studio. They're like, oh, it's no problem. Like it's really just it doesn't seem it's there, but it's not implemented. It's not harsh
Yeah.
on both sides. Like it's there for when we need it, but not like really heavy-handed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well,
Terri?
well, I agree with Carol about the late cancel no-show fees. However, I disagree about the wishy-washy because when it's wishy-washy, then that's where you get confrontation because, oh, well, Carol always reverses the the late cancel no-shows fee. So Mara, why won't you do it? Right. So the issue is I think can be absolute leniency. There can be leniency in any policy, but it needs to be very clearly defined. And I think like with certain softwares, it's like you can have an oopsie, right?
Hmm.
It could be like an oopsie where the first time, or you can give even like I know in MindBody, you can even stipulate X number of oopsies per different type of membership tier. So then after that, the student gets charged. So I think with when you have a policy like that, I think it can be bent for sure. And I think that at a certain point you need to like, okay, we've now waived 3 no-shows for you.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to do it anymore. So please make sure, if you're not going to make it, just cancel. I mean, I one time had a client who had spent more in late cancels and no-shows than her membership was 1 month.
My goodness.
Because what she would do is she would go in and book out all the popular class times because my members could book out ahead of everybody else. But then she'd forget to go in and cancel, or she would just forget to show up.
That sounds like something I would do.
So that's when I shorten the window for people being able to book out.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you guys think about like wait lists and stuff? Like I know it came in more so like during COVID, but like back in the day, like you just showed up and it was first come, first serve. If the class was full, it was full and you had to leave, or they packed you in like sardines. Do you wish it would go back to that, or are you in love with wait lists?
I had wait lists in 2018.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Maybe
I,
I've just never been to a studio that's like busy enough that needs a wait list, but
well, when you have good coaching and you know the heck you're doing and you maximize.
well, Terri, the studios here and do not know what they're doing. Shit, I hope none of them are listening.
I mean, I'll never forget when I was, when I bought my studio in 2015, God, 10 years ago, we were still using pen and paper, index cards and
Hmm.
file box. So I checked out and I decided to go with MindBody at the time.
Hmm.
And so I remember on the call, they must have been a new feature that they had just because the sales rep was really like so excited about this late cancel and no show and wait lists and all. It was really excited about that. And at that point, I was happy if 10 people showed up,
Yeah.
right? Well, lo and behold, 3 years later, I was happy they had those wait lists and no show. I think it's actually, I like it because I do feel that it has an accountability for people,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like when you book a class and you put it on your calendar, it's like an appointment. It's like you go. You have it
Yeah.
on your calendar and you wouldn't not show up for an appointment with a client. It's like this is an
Yeah.
appointment with yourself. And
That's
then
true.
therefore, if you don't show up, there should be a penalty for it. In fact, I had clients tell me begrudgingly, like, yeah, I know I wasn't a fan of this late cancel no show in the beginning, but now it's like on those days where it's like a couple hours, and well, if I don't go, I'm gonna get charged. Yeah, I see you
Hear
shaking.
that a
Never
lot. Yeah, we
regret
hear
going to yoga.
Yeah.
Like you never regret a good workout. You never regret going to yoga, anything like that.
But
Um,
getting there sometimes is the issue, and that just pushes you
exactly.
over the
Oh,
edge.
Getting
So,
there is the hardest part a lot of the times.
yes.
Yeah.
the ass in the car, your
Yeah.
asana. That was I always said the hardest part was getting to the studio. Once you got there, it's just get on your mat and
Yeah.
do the best you can.
I
That's
know.
it.
Even like going to the gym, like I'll be talking to Kenny and I'm like, should I make dinner first or go to the gym? And he's like, go to the gym. Otherwise, you're not going to go. And I was like, oh, I don't want to. Like now I have to because he told me I needed to go. And I'm like, mm. Anyways, oh my goodness. What do you think though about wait lists as a student? Like if you're trying to get into a class that's full, have you ever experienced that from a student perspective, trying to like get in a class that's waitlisted?
Yep.
And
I would say that when I was doing the studio I went to that constantly had wait lists because it was very popular, particularly like some of the evening classes and weekends and around the holidays, all those times. I could say in the whole time I went there, which was about a year and a half, um, I only didn't get off the wait list like twice. So for the most part, I'd get on the wait list, I'd book on the wait list, and then I would inevitably, like I said, in a year and a half, I only did not get in off the wait list twice.
is it always like you get the text message and you have to like click the button or reply or whatever? Like, hey,
Depends.
so this happens to me all the time. There's this 9 a.m. Sunday morning spin class that I always want to go to, and it's always waitlisted. And as soon as I get that text, I can be holding my phone with my text open and I get that like, oh, there's a spot open on the wait list and I click it and then the text I get back is, oh, sorry, this is already filled. And I'm like, and it happens multiple times and I'm just
Well,
like,
it depends on the software. Some softwares, like MindBody, it goes in order.
oh, that would be
I
handy.
think there's another option, Terry, now that they will do a
They,
send it
yeah,
out to
A
everybody. I think
mass
they
one.
have both now.
yeah.
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 So that's, yeah, thank you, Carol. There's options that you can, it depends on the studio. They can set it up. It just the spot, hey, there's a spot release, it goes to the wait list, whoever grabs it first gets it.
Yeah.
Then you can go in order. It's like you get in.
And they
And
act
when I
fast.
had MindBody, my policy, because they didn't have that option at that point, was I had it very clearly. It was a policy that said when you put yourself on the wait list, you are de facto saying you're coming to class. If you get into the class and do not just decline, it's reply no on the
Mhm.
text and you don't show up, you will be charged a no-show fee.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I was hardcore.
Oh, that was your studio.
And I was charging $25 in 2018, 2019.
Wow.
I know when people are charging $5, I'm like, you got to charge more. You got to make it hurt. Sorry, those of you listening out there, consumer land, get your shit together. When you book a class, cancel before or show up.
All right, let's take a look at some of the comments. All right, so first comment, pretty standard for health and fitness clubs. Try canceling from a place like Planet Fitness. And then somebody commented on that. They kept losing my cancellation notices until I sent them a letter and emailed a copy of the letter showing that I did mail it. I'm assuming that's at Planet Fitness, so clearly Planet Fitness needs to
I mean, I
clean
wonder
up their cancellation policies.
with their click to cancel, that's going to be a huge impact on them.
Yeah.
Exactly why the click to cancel laws were put in place because of stuff like that.
Someone always ruins it for everyone. All right, another comment. Depends on the membership. Generally, you pay month to month for a higher rate or a continuous with a minimum number of months and a 30-day cancellation policy for a lower rate. But if they do this, it has to be in writing somewhere, so check your agreement. It feels like a money grab, but after working at a studio front desk for a while and dealing with people constantly trying to find ways not to pay, I kind of get it. So we got some little studio workers here that are chiming in. And then OP responded to that. I totally agree with this. At my smaller regular studio, I do a 6-month commitment and it has a 30-day cancellation policy for a cheaper rate. This makes total sense to me and it was very transparent when I signed up. At this other studio, I'm paying a much higher fee and it's month to month. I think that's why I'm so confused over a 30-day cancellation policy. So the OP has a 30-day cancellation policy at her other studio and is aware of it and then didn't think to check the other one, or like that just doesn't make sense to me. That's just silly. I mean, the 6 month commitment thing just drives me. I'm not even going to go into that because it makes me so angry. I'm like, I will not commit to something for 6 months. I will do a month to month, but then I get annoyed because then you have to pay more money.
Well,
But
I was going to say that, yeah. Well, what's interesting, just as we were talking, I logged into Planet Fitness and nowhere on here does
just
it say,
multitasking like a boss.
well, yeah, because I wanted to see, they haven't updated. I'm looking at nowhere on here is how to cancel.
Yeah, I can see that. This comment's pretty funny. Pretty standard stuff, and not all predatory, not all predatory, oh my God, words, geez Louise, like gyms where it's tough to cancel. Literally just say, hey, this is my last month, and when it's over, you're done. You agreed to a 30-day cancellation clause when you signed up and paid money. You should have called 29 days ago, not a day before, to renew. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
that's what I said. Yeah. If you signed it without reading it, then that's your bad.
Yeah, that's like kind of the common thread in the comments. It's like most studios have a policy and it's explicitly stated in the contract. Check your contract. That's like what 90% of the comments here are saying. All right, question for you guys. As a studio owner, how would you deal with a difficult student?
I was just gonna say, you know, for the most part, I had them pass it up the chain so I could be the bad guy. Like,
Mm,
or I could have the conversation, right? You know, me or my business partner, we could deal with it because I didn't want, you know, I didn't feel like my staff should take the heat for some asshole at the studio, right?
yeah.
And then I could get to the bottom of it and see like what is it? Can we fix this? I want this to be a good outcome for everyone, if possible. And so just kind of taking it out of, I mean, there were certain people on staff that I felt like could handle certain things, but they always had the out to be like, I'm really sorry, I don't have the, you know, capacity to do that, but you're welcome to just email this person and they'll take care of you. You know, just let me be the person to take that heat.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a great way to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry, what'd you do?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on when you said, are they being a jerk just in general, or is it about a policy or a payment or something like that? Can't,
Depends on the
yeah.
situation.
I basically empowered my staff. I just said, look, I've got your back. And, you know, they knew within parameters what they could do and not do. This was more when I hired desk staff. Is like, you know, if they felt it was the right thing to do, they could do it. And, you know, I gave them parameters on what it was. And then even if I didn't necessarily agree with it, I would still support it. And then we would talk about what to do the next time it happened.
Hmm.
Right. And then if they didn't feel comfortable doing it, and then it was like, then they would pass it up to me. And this, like Carol said, look, you know, I'm so sorry. That's really not something that I'm able to decide. I will take your information and I will let Terry know and she will get back in touch with you, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I kind of did that it was a holdover from my corporate days because I like that. Many of my bosses were like being in sales, and sometimes you're on the fly and you're having to make a deal, or maybe you're negotiating a price or delivery or something like that. And they were like, we empower you to make those decisions.
Hmm.
Up to and including one time I basically wrote a $10,000 check to a client. And my boss afterwards was like, he gulped on that one. He said, yeah, Terry, got your back on this one. However, on this specific case, next time, talk to me first. And he still had my back on it.
Yeah.
He didn't say, oh, no, we're not going to do that, and then make me go back to my client and have egg on my face. Right.
Yeah.
So,
That would be bad.
and I think that's where, again, having the policies, having the guardrails, and then your staff knowing when they can make exceptions and when they can't.
Yeah.
It's empowering to them. And if the person's just being a complete asshole, then it would be like, I'm going to have Terry call you. But
Yeah.
mostly that didn't happen. I don't know about you, Carol, but it was very rare that we had someone that was just like a total idiot.
Yeah, I mean it is rare, but you're gonna over
It
that time
happens.
frame and like just working with the general public, you're
Yeah,
gonna have some that you're gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You're,
usually like when things like that happen in the moment and then you like your staff is saying like I'm gonna have to like pass you off to Carol or Terry and talk about this. Like it genuine like it probably will de-escalate the situation anyways because then it gives that person time to like step back and they're not gonna come at you as heated either, which is kind of shitty for your staff because they had to deal with the brunt of it.
yeah, you have to have a little bit when you're working with the public, a little bit, you have to be a little bit bulletproof, a little bit Teflon.
Yeah, I worked in retail for years and years
Yeah,
and years
yeah.
and
You have to, yeah.
stories I could tell. Oh
It's
man,
just
yeah.
like you have to be able, if that's not something, and that's again, when you're hiring people, hiring front desk and stuff like that, that's something that really you should hire for, is like sales and customer service experience, because
There's a lot of people that can't handle it. I was always the person that got thrown in the fire to deal with the difficult people. And it's like we had one girl at the store I worked at, and she would always just run to the back. She would just cry when people confronted her. And I was like, oh, I got it. But I don't know, I can be a bitch, I guess, when I need to be. So I gotta
you
lay
just
down the law.
you be just badass.
Yeah, I can be a badass. All right, we're going to switch gears and play a game to finish off. It's a bit of a pop quiz, but I feel like I need to preface this is not graded because everybody is upset that there's no scoring in these games. So here we go. I'm going to read a question and then there's multiple choice answers, and each of you are going to choose which option you would want.
Okay.
Okay? Which expired item would you be most upset about not getting to use? A, your yoga intro offer. B, a free Chipotle burrito. C, a 20% off Lululemon coupon. Or D, a Disneyland fast pass.
Probably my yoga intro, because the rest I'm like, meh. I'm not really a Lululemon fan. I can pass on the burrito.
Okay.
Yeah. And Disneyland. Okay. That's fine.
I've never been to Disneyland.
I've been to
Have you been
Disney World, not Disneyland. So,
to
I've
Disneyland's
never
the
been
dope.
to either.
I love Disneyland. I love Disneyland way, well, at least last time, way better than Disney World. Disney World is too big for me. My answer, none of the above.
What?
Because if I really like if I felt that my intro expired and I didn't feel like I got enough, that means I didn't like the place. And let me tell you, I've had tons of intro expires and I've only been like once or twice because I'm completely underwhelmed. So if the place is jamming and I like it, I'm definitely using that intro. If it's not and it expires, I'm like, eh.
So logical.
So
I would
like,
be most upset over the Lululemon coupon because I have an obsession.
I mean, and I actually have I have a 10 class card, expired 10 class card at one studio, and expired 5 class card at another studio. And on the
Just
10
letting
class,
them all go.
I just like, again, I'm like, why did I even bother buying this? I don't even
Yeah,
like this place.
that's fair. All right, next question. Which yoga studio policy would secretly ruin your vibe the most? A, no laughing during class. B, only allowed to wear matching sets. C, mandatory group photos after every class. Or D, a $5 fee if your phone even vibrates in the lobby.
the group photo one for me was
Most cringe.
I don't know. It's like the rest, okay, I guess, but I don't know. I don't need my photo being taken. Like, what are you using this for? I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm
They're
with
just
Carol.
gonna make like a plaster collage wall around the studio of every single class they've ever had.
No,
Could be
sorry.
a
Yeah, I'm
vibe.
with Carol on that one. The group photo after every class would be, eh.
Yeah. I don't know if I could. I guess you wouldn't really go to class laughing.
I
Yeah, probably the group photo, I would say. I think we're all in agreement there. All right. Next question. If you could add one ridiculous new membership perk, which would you choose? A, unlimited snack bar access post-class granola buffet. B, first dibs on choosing studio playlist songs. C, VIP early access to prime mat spots, or D, automatic upgrade to heated classes at will?
I think the one that people would choose is the mat spot. Like
Yeah.
that would be, people would pay for that shit. They love to get their spot. They get their, when the doors are opening to go run in and grab their.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the most successful.
Yeah. There you
But
go. You guys could throw that out to your coaching
Well,
clients.
that's why I'm a fan of a lot of softwares now have pick a spot
Hmm.
where you can actually, and I think it, particularly in that are busy, and I think it just helps with the brunt of check-in when you don't have people, when people know where their spot is, and you don't have the person with their nose pressed against the glass, and I think for people that are anxious, which a lot of people practice yoga are, it helps ease some anxiety.
Yeah.
And if you have new people in the room, new people have signed up, you can assign them a spot ahead
Yeah.
of time, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think the pick a spot feature is, yeah.
So that's the one you would personally choose, or your coach, you in your coaching hat would choose?
What were the other ones?
Unlimited snack bar, first dibs on choosing studio playlist songs,
Yeah,
prime mat spots, and automatic upgrade to heated classes at will.
I would only go to a hot studio, so there would be no, probably the prime spot. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, none of the above. I'm really not like any of these, none of these answers like, oh yeah, I gotta have that one.
All right, next question. Which emotional support item should studios let you bring into class? No questions asked. A small dog in a sweater, aka Lucy. B, a pillow for spontaneous naps. C, a Bluetooth fan for personal cooling. Or D, a latte safely tucked beside your mat. Hi, Lucy.
again, I don't like any, same with Terry. I'm like, maybe the latte because the rest of them I think are bullshit. So I don't know.
Well, if it was Carol's studio, it would be my wearable.
Yep.
You're, oh, I was like, what? You're wearable.
Be able to
Oh.
wear my wearable.
I would probably bring a pillow for Savasana. Yeah, it's like a bolster. It's basically a bolster.
After so many years of doing Bikram, and I like Savasana just laying flat on the floor with your head on the ground.
Have
Like,
you ever done a yin class, Terry, where you
yes,
have the
I did,
bolster underneath
yes.
your legs and it feels so nice and you just
So
fall right asleep?
I don't use them, and I fall asleep. I love to fall asleep in Savasana. And hey, I did a yin certification, so I can technically teach a yin class. So yeah, no. Here's my thing: if it's a good class and I'm engaged,
Terry, you're taking this all way too seriously.
that's all I care
This is
about.
not serious at all.
Because you guys
Okay,
know there's no
last question.
in
If
Ohio.
you had to pause your yoga membership for a hilarious reason, not a serious reason, which would it be? A, I've emotionally bonded with my couch. B, I'm in a committed relationship with my bed. C, I can't come back until Mercury is out of retrograde. Or D, I accidentally joined a medieval sword fighting club instead.
It'd probably be that I'm in a relationship with my bed.
Yeah.
Or what was the C? C was like
I
another one.
can't come back until Mercury's out of retro.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the planets need to realign for me to come back. That sounds actually like something somebody would actually
Yeah,
send to a
100%.
yoga studio.
Yeah.
Well, if you had a weekly membership with click to cancel and easy sign up and you said cancel, it wouldn't matter because I just cancel and rejoin. So sorry, that's
I'm
my.
starting to realize that I cannot play games on this show because everybody takes it way too seriously.
But okay, if you want, I would say the one with Carol, Mercury retrograde, because seriously, I don't know about you, Carol, but there have been times when people have given me really wackadoodle and for exact that kind of thing. It's like the moon, whatever. It's been like, okay, sure, fine. Yeah, I'll pause it. Yeah, okay. Well, in certain styles of yoga, for women in particular, there's days that you don't practice at all.
Because you're gonna bleed everywhere.
There
Just
is just
kidding.
no, seriously, it has to do with your menstrual cycle.
Oh, yeah, I know. So is there some kind of policy out there, Terry, that you would bend the rules for? or like one reason you would bend your policies for.
In any policy, or
Yeah, in a studio.
if someone came to me with a legitimate reason and was like, I understand these are the policies, this is my situation, would you be willing to do this? Then I'm way more ready to work with them. That's someone that's screaming at you that this sucks, blah, 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 blah. So we had actually, and remember there was a post, Carol, on the YC a while back about a refund on ongoing charges, hadn't realized it was a membership and had renewed and wanted to cancel and da da da. But the situation was there was a thing that happened. The client was billed for several $100s, and the client proposed I thought, a very amicable solution to the what she was requesting. She said, I understand this. I'm willing to pay this. However, would you be, and I think maybe it was a private message, whatever. And I said to the client, I said, well, if it were me, I think she's being really reasonable. I would do it, because the other thing is you want to avoid the dreaded chargeback, because
Yeah, those chargebacks really mess up a fucking business. That's
well, and also it's like typically the bank sides with the consumer, and I every chargeback I fought, I never won. What about you, Carol? Did you ever win a chargeback?
Oh yeah. I won those every time.
Really?
almost every chargeback I've ever dealt with, like me as the business, have won it because it's usually in your contract,
Yeah.
right? Like they sign that contract stating those terms. And then as long as you provide that as proof that no, this is what they agreed to pay for, and then it's usually
Not with I mean, I kid you not, the couple of times I did, and they still sided with the consumer. Maybe it was just the bank. I don't know. But anyway.
Maybe you gotta switch banks, Terry. All right, friends. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Spill the Booch. Thanks for hanging out with us, sharing some laughs, because let's face it, yoga might be zen, but life isn't always. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, share your own wild stories with us. You might just hear them on the show. Until next time.
With the drummer,
Cheers.
now we bout to turn it up. Stretching truth like a Hemi hot tea in the room. Sip the calm, beat your fears while we watch it go boom.